Hi guys, welcome back to POV, People, Opinions and Votes. Today I am here with my father, Ajay Nirantar.
Hi kids, I'm Ajay. I work as a consultant, predominantly in trying to apply technology in manufacturing, the latest and the greatest of technology, how it can be used to improve the manufacturing processes.
So today we are going to have an interesting discussion about voting. So let's get started.
Alright, so the first question is, what is your experience with voting? And has the process for elections changed for the better or the worse since the first time you voted?
My experience with voting is always great. I love to vote and I make it a point that I'm participating in the voting process. Not only participating, but I also take time to understand what are the candidates, what are their agendas, and what are they wanting to drive as a cause if they get elected. And the decision is based on who is going to offer what in his agenda. That decides whom I vote for. As far as the process is concerned, I can easily say that it's been a sea change since the time I first voted to now. Voting today has become very easy, accessible. Kind of earlier we used to need to plan, think about a lot of things, find out where it is, where your booth is, find the cards to identify yourself. A lot of things used to happen. Now it is very peaceful. You get a slip delivered there at your doorstep, which tells you about your booth, voting booth, and who are the candidates, and the candidates do door campaigns, so you're aware about everything.
So that's nice. Actually, I have seen you go and vote. Even this election also, every morning you guys go at 7:30 in the morning and stand in lines. I think like what we have had as a recurrent issue highlighted in our episodes has been कि queues बहुत लंबे हैं.
Things are changing for us, right? So we moved from a paper ballot to an electronic ballot, right? With electronic ballot, now they are able to get in more machines, so the queues have got shorter. Earlier, the queue itself used to be a kilometer long, and everybody used to still go for voting. So I think voting is becoming more and more easier now.
Yes. So do you think, like you just said, कि paper ballot, it's changed from paper ballots to
Electronic
ballots. Do you think a digital version should also be there, like a digital?
Digital, I think anything beyond a voting machine, going like on a soft mobile or something like that, will take the fun out of voting.
That's true. Yeah.
That's the reason I don't want to go that way.
Okay, so the next question is, what do you think keeps young people from voting?
I have really not understood why young people are reluctant to vote. But I've seen, there are 2-3 things which I would attribute to it. One is basically in today's demanding environment, the young, typically the guys who are in their 18s or 19s when they are becoming eligible for voting, they have a lot more things on their plate. They want to look at a career, they want to look at going abroad for studies, they want to pursue a particular hobby, so a lot more things are happening in today's world for the kids. And a lot of information is available to them, a lot of things are accessible to them. So their time is very distributed across more of that. And overall, the exposure which they have of what they see on TV and all of that, which is relevant from a political perspective, they're not very comfortable, so they don't vibe very easily with them. So that is the reason why they feel that what am I going to do in this? Why should I even go there? And that is why they are reluctant to go and look at voting as a practice over there. But I have seen the other side also. There are kids who are into it, who are into the ecosystem, who want to get into social causes and who want to get into those aspects of making a difference to the society. It's an agenda for them, and those are the kids who are really open to participate into voting and very open to do that. They seem to find everything around them.
Have you heard about MUNs? Yeah, acronym is Model United Nations.
Oh yeah. MUN, I've heard about it. My elder son participated in an MUN. It's a very novel way of kind of introducing this whole scenario of how United Nations work and how politically you guys can get together on a common agenda and how the strategies can be built around that. It could be made as a part of a curriculum itself. If not currently today, it's extracurricular activity. But some way or the other, they should imbibe that into the curriculum.
So the thing is, like since I am in the youth kind age group, what I feel many people are not going to vote is because they are a little hesitant on one is if they vote, one is who to vote for.
Everybody thinks, what is one single vote going to make a difference?
Yes.
Right? That is one. But see, 1 plus 1 will make it 2 plus 2 will make it 3. That is how you will make a difference. So I think that power of multiplication is something which you fail to understand. And when you look at a power of multiplication, 1 matters. Right? That is why I always have been telling you guys that you guys need to figure out and go for voting. Coming back to why on the part of it is, why they are not aware is because, they are not interacting. If you really look at an average kid's life today, he's so grumbled with his studies and everything and all of that. Right? He's not having a very active social life outside. They're all tied down to their laptops and mobiles and all of that. So if you go out, you will come to know what are the political agendas being driven, what are the causes they want to drive. Right? Once you know all of that, then you will be able to vibe with it. In your terms it is vibing with that, right? So once you vibe with it, then you will be able to gel and get forward. Otherwise, it is going to be the same scenario. Right? So you will understand who is driving what cause. Right?
I agree. It makes sense.
So things are changing.
Okay, so the next question is, where do you usually get information about elections or candidates, and how can you tell which is fake and which is the real news?
So I think elections in India are very well planned ahead of time. So the Election Commission typically starts working on election planning 3 years before the due date. Besides that, if you really look at social, in today's world, earlier it used to be like, we used to have all those, the government used to hire those tangawalas and autowalas and with all those, what do you call that, mics and this. That is how election campaigns used to happen, and even Election Commission used to declare the dates and all of that. Radio news, TV news, Doordarshan was the only channel available then. So, but now you can even find it on Instagram. If you follow the right channels, Twitter is right about the moment a date is declared for any state, the first thing you see is the Election Commission has already put it on Twitter. There are candidates now available who have information about them, putting it on Instagram. All the government channels, all the channels who are responsible for elections, conducting and doing all of that, they have official handles over there. You can follow them to get it. Now coming back to what is fake and what is not fake, it is becoming more and more difficult. The line is blurring. But ideal scenario, you should follow the whitelisted channels, right? Like official channels of Election Commission, official channels of the parties or their party leaderships. They will give you the exact details. Coming back to your candidates, your local area network is basically the right one. Government has now started also publishing out. You should have noticed sometimes out of a blue you will suddenly get an SMS coming to you that this is the voting dates and all of that. Though you may not have submitted your record or you may not even be there, you may not even have a voter ID card assigned to you at that point of time when the alert came back to you. But they have your track record. With the Aadhaar cards coming in, they have your track record. So they know when you are going to turn 18. And they will send out, and they also know which phone you are linked to. So you will see a lot of those messages. I don't know if you have seen it or not, but I have observed it.
If you could improve one thing about how elections are run or understood, what would it be?
Currently, the Election Commission is actually doing a lot more things, to improve that whole process. But yeah, understanding wise, so it is basically, what do you mean by understanding what the voting process is?
A lot of people seem to be very confused about what the process is in general,
Okay.
and even how to find the information on candidates and everything.
Okay. Enough information available and accessible. The point is, people are not aware of the sources of this information. But if they are just listening to the local news, everybody, like in your rainy season, right? You guys travel in Mumbai and there is local trains, right? You guys take train. Every day morning during the rainy season, you guys start up your TV and look at the channels, right, for getting whether my trains are going to work or not. Same applies election day. You want to just pick up or open a channel during the election time. Look at it. There is information available on that about who are the candidates in your area, what are their agendas, and in fact, all the candidates before the election when they are canvassing for the election and all of that, they will put in pamphlets and booklets in your newspapers. Now the problem is, the younger generation is no longer reading newspapers, right? But if you pick up newspapers during that particular small sort of time, right, you don't have to go through extensively. You have to go through only the local part of it. And nowadays the newspapers are also, kind of built in a lot of user interface over there. So they will pick up all those catchy headings, right? So you don't have to browse through the whole 26 pages of the newspaper. You look at 2 headings and you will know what to read, what not to read, and basis that you can always get all the information. Besides that, there are events happening on the corners of the streets where some candidates will put up their booth, they will keep shouting on the mics and all of that. So you get all the information over there. Information is available. Only challenge is you guys are not going to the right sources.
I think we need to make
If you feel involved and if you think your vote matters, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to get the information. Information is available.
Do you think, since we are majorly focusing on the voting process of this, do you think civics के part में they tell us all our fundamental responsibilities, duties, since we have tried to establish that voting is not only a right but a responsibility as a citizen, so do you think civics के schools में voting का
civics में तो already there was a chapter. There used to be a chapter even during our studying days. There used to be a chapter on your fundamental rights and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there could be some kind of a storyboarding or a topic which can be included as a part of your curriculum. But what happens is, if it is introduced too early into the game, by the time you come to the voting period, the seriousness is gone to it. But if it is too late into the ecosystem, you guys at that time are not focused on that part, your focus is about something else. So finding that right catch point where they could add it into as a curriculum part of your education commitment might become a challenging part. But in schools and colleges, typically the pre-degree, 10, 12, those after 10th, if the schools start organizing something like their MUM, right? Around that, if they plan something around the voting process and all of that, it will become easy. It is very easy. The process is very easy, very simplified. But because you guys don't have access to that information and you are not able to read it somewhere, right, at one place, or there is nobody who is explaining it to you, you feel it is difficult. Because before you jump into the pool, you want to start getting ready for the swimming part.
Yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Thank you so much, Dad. It was really fun and very insightful conversation. This is actually first time I guess जो अपन बैठ के voting and elections के बारे में बात किया होगा. But thank you so much. बहुत information मिला and it was really good. And hopefully everyone applies what he just advice he gave and looks for the right sources and tries to take a more responsible step towards voting in the next elections. So stay curious, stay engaged.
And remember, every vote counts.
Thank you.
Thank you.